A head-to-head battle for the U.S. Senate will go live to both camps in St. Louis.
Heading home, Missouri's Task Force 1 returns from the East Coast after helping the victims of Hurricane Sandy.
And a Delta dilemma, why the mayor says he is not happy. KOMU 8 News at 6 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News.
Two big stories tonight. Delta Airlines plans to pull out of the Columbia Regional Airport, but first, 1 hour of voting remains in the 2012 general election. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jem Reed.
And I'm Angie Bailey. Tonight, we bring you team coverage of the local and statewide races. So we're going to start with the race for senator, a race that's been red hot for Democratic candidate Claire McCaskill and Republican challenger Todd Akin. They've gone head-to-head on the campaign trail for months now. Akin made a remark about legitimate rape that had his fellow Republicans calling for him to step out of the race. He refused to quit and is attempting to beat McCaskill for that Senate seat. We'll start with KOMU 8 Stacey Welsh, who is live at Chase Park in St. Louis, where supporters of McCaskill have gathered for results. Stacey.
I'm here in the Chase Park Plaza Hotel, where McCaskill is supposed to arrive sometime after the polls close at 7. Now I'll take you to KOMU 8's Mary McGuire, who's live in Chesterfield with the latest on Todd Akin's watch party.
That's right. I'm here just a stone's throw away in Chesterfield, Missouri, with Congressman Todd Akin's camp on this election night. And while there's not a lot going on right now, certainly a lot of eyes on this particular race.
A voting scanner malfunctioned this morning in Boone County, leaving voters worried whether their votes would get counted or not. The Fairview Church opened its doors bright and early. However, about 7:30 in the morning, the ballot scanner started rejecting ballots. Judges say they immediately preserved the ballots while a technician repaired the scanner within about 30 minutes. Election judges say the problem was minor and there haven't been any problems since.
People were having difficulty with the M100 machine, the ballot counter, accepting their ballots. So we called the office, and within a few minutes, one of the techs from the office came down and replaced a component in the M100 machine, and it was fixed.
And judges say all of the votes were counted. We continue our coverage tonight by bringing you the latest on the Missouri governor's race. KOMU live at the pageant in St. Louis with Nixon supporters. Courtney?
Hey, so it's pretty much a waiting game at this point. Courtney says no. KOMU 8 News.
Governor Nixon is up against Republican nominee Dave Spence, a businessman from St. Louis who has been spending his personal funds on the campaign. Spence headed to the polls in St. Louis this morning. Now, Nixon won the governorship in 2008 with about 58% of the vote. But Missouri voters have proven to be fickle at the ballot box. Republicans and Democrats have traded control of the governor's seat 6 times since the 1970s. Missouri's voted Republican the past 3 presidential elections. KOMU 8's Dan Kennedy has been following the races here in the studio tonight and joins us now to break down Missouri's role in this year's election. Dan.
Jim, in the final weeks leading to tonight, President Obama and Governor Romney have been head-to-head in the polls in that election. We'll be following in the studio all night long. Dan Kennedy, back to you.
Dan, thank you very much. The polls will close in a little less than an hour. The Boone County clerk said Boone County is a major player in the state. The county is diverse with university students, war conservatives, and business communities, different voters with different priorities.
Probably our unemployment rates and having jobs in America for, people around my age, just getting out of college.
I've been watching all the issues and all the candidates, so I was pretty well educated on what I wanted, and what I wanted for the future of my children and great-grandchildren.
Voters are allowed to vote if they're in line by 7 o'clock when the polls close.
Moving on to the race for Missouri's next Attorney General, a battle between Democratic candidate Chris Koster and Republican Ed Martin. KOMU 8's Danny Spiewak's alive at the pageant in St. Louis, where supporters of Chris Koster are gathering now. Danny.
Governor Jay Nixon is not here, but Attorney General Chris Koster was here earlier. He's running for re-election, of course, against Republican Ed Martin, and this is an interesting race. Reporting live in St. Louis, Danny Spiewak, KOMU 8 News.
Well, do you need a ride to the poll in this final hour? Quinn Chapel AME Church in Jefferson City is offering free rides to and from polling places until they close at 7 o'clock. It's part of the Souls to the Polls nonpartisan program. Jefferson City public transportation closes at 6, so the church saw the need to help out.
And we've heard people say things like, oh my God, I didn't know how I was going to get there. That I called a cab, but I realized it was too expensive. So elderly people, people with some disabilities, and young people.
This was the first.
Reporting live in St. Louis, Danny Spiewak, KOMU 8 News.
Well, do you need a ride to the poll in this final hour? Quinn Chapel AME Church in Jefferson City is offering free rides to and from polling places until they close at 7 o'clock. It's part of the Souls to the Polls nonpartisan program. Jefferson City Public Transportation closes at 6, so the church saw the need to help out.
And we've heard people say things like, oh my God, I didn't know how I was going to get there. That I called a cab, but I realized it was too expensive. So elderly people, people with some disabilities, and young people.
This was the first year for the program in mid-Missouri. Quinn Chapel members want to continue the program for future elections.
There is other news actually happening today other than the elections. A major announcement regarding Columbia Regional Airport's business with Delta was made today. KOMU 8's Cody LeGros was at that announcement. He's live right now at City Hall with the latest details on it. Cody.
Delta claims it lost $900,000. I asked the mayor how many Delta jobs will be affected by this move, and he said it's still questionable. Reporting live at City Hall, Cody LeGros, KOMU 8 News.
From election news to airline news to crime news, police are investigating the shooting of a 17-year-old male on the east side of Columbia. The victim, who is expected to be fine, was taken to MU Women's and Children's Hospital after the shots fired incident happened at about 2 this afternoon. The shooting happened in the 3600 block of West Sugar Tree Lane. No suspects have been identified, but police do believe it was a random incident. The clock is ticking.
Voters have less than an hour now to hit the polls. We'll tell you what they're doing to try to keep that process moving quickly and easily.
Gradual clearing and a little chilly tonight, but it is typical November weather. We'll have that next on KOMU 8 News at 6.